you have to go beyond simply being a member of the human community, because you need to learn to be able to link with other animals, even with plants and so forth. So Yangming makes another extremely interesting assertion, as I noted in the very beginning, that everything in the world is endowed with this quality of this inner awareness. I sometimes render it as primordial awareness, but people translate it as innate morality. Now you have difficulties in how a piece of rock has inner morality. But if you follow my idea of everything is a vital energy, and that vital energy involves certain kind of awareness. Now the philosophical or the ontological argument is understandable. How can the various kinds of vital energy, through years, through millions years, eventually generate life? So life, in a sense, is intrinsic, is at least in the life itself, is in the vital energy. It's mysterious. How do we know that life emerges? But we know life emerges is not because, this is evolutionary theory, not creation theory. It's not being created. Through the evolutionary process, life is being engendered. And consciousness comes from this interaction of lives. And from the evolutionary perspective, again, it's complicated to know, because normally evolutionary structure is based upon living creatures. But life emerges, and life emerges, consciousness emerges, and human morality emerges. And I mentioned that emergence, the emerging state, can never be reduced to the lower forms of reasons for the engendering of that form. In other words, you cannot reduce life once it emerges to various kinds of vital energies. If you interpret life as all kinds of vital energies, you'll never be able to find life. This is a very profound and important argument against physicalism. Physicalism, perhaps the most powerful scientific theory, especially upheld by physicists. The physicists believe that if you get to the basic, right now you split all the way to the lowest, I don't know whether you call particle is too big. It's the lowest element of some kind, and that's the beginning of the building block of everything. So physics, chemistry, biology, psychology, neurology belong to the same form of development, from physics to chemistry, chemistry to biology, and so on. But according to this emerging theory, once life emerges, you simply cannot understand it simply by physical sciences, because it's something else. And if consciousness begins, you cannot understand consciousness simply by reducing it to life and the various kinds of vital energy. That's true with the human. Once human beings emerge as a new form, you say new form of existence, not just new form of life, you cannot reduce that human existence to simply life or simply consciousness of the animals. That's the reason why nature is absolutely critical about the difference between an animal and human. And the difference is very small, but that small distinctive feature or the defining characteristic of being human is something we need to cultivate. So we can enlarge it and become great people. Now, Yangming believes, according to this line of thinking, that everything is embodied, almost like from the highest level of human accomplishment, and allows that to be present. It's not reducible, yet present. So a human being, the most sensitive human being, is able to relate meaningfully, not only to other human beings, but to animal, to plants, to minerals. There are a number of examples to show this kind of reasoning is not totally unreasonable. One is the Martin Buber's idea of dialogue. The idea you dialogue with something out there, not for us human beings interested in the distinction between subject and object. For example, an artist who observes a tree. The relationship between the artist and the tree is not the object out there. It is fused into the artistic sensitivity of the person. So there's a dialogical relationship. The artist observes sometimes is not necessarily the best word, encounters a tree as if the tree is an integral part of his being. And in Chinese painting, there's the notion of the spirit of nature. You don't observe a mountain as if it's out there. You go into the mountain to share, Yosemite, one of my favorite places. You go to Yosemite, you enjoy it, you spend a great deal of time, you come back and try to recreate your understanding of Yosemite. So Yosemite is not simply a collection of objects. Yosemite, using one word, is a communion of subjects, where Yosemite emanates some kind of spiritual, or using a Native American idea, mana. And so you're moved. The reason you're moved, you're inspired, because there's some kind of interconnectedness between you being human and nature out there. So the Chinese painter would look at, for example, mountain range, not as static things, but as ocean waves frozen in time. And the ocean waves, normally the fluidity of water